Broadcasting from the stages of London, this is Musical Talk, the UK's first independent musical theatre podcast.
Hello, welcome to Musical Talk. This is Nick Hudson. I'm joined here by Tim.
Tim Sayward, on the mic, in the house.
And this is Thomas Ribbits wearing trousers.
And that's Andy not managing to keep his on.
Hello, it's Andrew. I'm back.
Andy.
Hello.
It's nice to see you.
I'm actually waiting there.
Meet
Did you see? I was actually
because
waiting.
technically, you know,
Oh no, we never
first
met on
time
air,
together.
haven't we?
Absolutely.
Yes. Over
So
Chinese.
this is our formal introduction.
Yes.
How
La-
lovely.
Last week
Do
we
please
had
carry on, Nick. In your own time. Whenever you want.
Oh my god.
last week we had Thos and Tim talking about pantomime. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful episode. It's all.
We enjoyed it until we came to listen to it later.
We have some new microphones.
I got a blue one. Yay!
Absolutely. Mine is red.
Thos has a yellow one.
Yes.
Tim has a red one. And Andy has a big blue one,
I got a big blue one.
like a Smurf. So today is the 19th episode of Musical Talk. We're going to be talking about jukebox musicals.
I forgot to bring my jukebox today, but
I don't think she
We have to give a plug to the
Yes, we've been contacted by a guy called Michael Rice, who runs a podcast in Canada. Is it in Canada?
No, it's I think Chicago, isn't it?
Oh, I can't remember. Somewhere.
I think it's Chicago.
It's called Opera Now, and it's the only opera podcast in the world.
now.
Now. Must be a good market for it.
So yeah, well, thanks for listening to our podcast because he says
Yes.
he's a big fan and
Head
I'll
on-
be listening to.
Head on over to, we'll put a link on the site so you can go and listen to Opera Now. And Musical Talk have been asked to appear on his podcast to discuss the links between opera and musical theatre. Of which there must be a few, I think.
There are
some-
a fair
Opera is musical theatre, is it?
Yes,
Yes, in fact, yes. I think they beat us to it. Technically,
about
technically
600
they had the
years.
idea first. Yes,
Yes.
by quite a
We may
margin.
need to pad that out to an hour, though.
and of course, a lot of operas have been turned into musical theatre, like Madame Butterfly, Miss Saigon, things like that.
That's
That's
true.
true,
And
yeah.
Carmen, into Carmen Jones.
Yep.
As well.
Absolutely.
And
And
hot-
technically Paul Gimbest recently.
and the Hot Mikado.
Yes.
Yeah.
indeed.
And another
Ah.
Mikado.
Sort of operetta,
Operetta.
though, to begin with.
Operetta,
Yes.
yeah.
Can we talk
Operetta.
about Gilbert and Sullivan another day?
Yes.
I may need to bring
Operetta.
all my research.
I think
I love Gilbert.
I think we
Come
are.
on,
I
Retina.
think we are. I think we are going to do an episode on Gilbert and Sullivan because
If you want me
That's
back
fine.
here, yes, we are.
even though Tim said he won't be joining us.
I'm afraid I won't be joining you for that one. They're not my favourite writing team.
Oh, I
in
love
the
Gilberts.
musical theatre history. I'm afraid.
You
What?
never return their calls, do you?
Well, they never. I say, why should I sing their songs? They never sing any of mine. You know, it's gonna.
You just write in the same style as they do.
That's just
Ooh,
an
and a
absolute
Filthy
truth.
room.
How dare you?
Ladies and gentlemen, this week we are going to have a little game. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you a question.
Are we doing the quiz now? Or
We're
later
going
on?
to
Are we
do the-
building up to this anticipatory moment?
We're going to do the quiz right now.
Good lord.
Right.
So I have the question,
I am steeled.
and you have.
Someone's had far too much time on their hands.
Can you explain the rules again, please, Nick?
Well, I haven't explained
For
them
the
in the first
benefit
place,
of those
but I'm going to ask you a question, and you have 1 minute to.
Answer it.
Yes, exactly, to discuss it between the three of you.
Discuss
Right.
it.
Okay.
So it's going to be like
It's,
one
it's
answer.
it's like
or
an
is it?
essay question. Da 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 da.
Well,
Discuss.
I will ask the question, I will give you a minute with some fun music, and then you will talk over the music and discuss what you think the answer will be, and at the end of the minute you have to give me an answer.
So we're the jury.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes,
okay.
and you're also
That's
the
sort of
contestants, and you're
Jukebox jury.
How apt. Could in some way tangentially be related to the theme of this week's show.
Absolutely.
You know, all we need now is a question.
Yes.
which I have here on this piece of paper, which I'll rattle around. You can hear that there.
Yep.
So the
Let the
question,
evidence show.
the question is, if you know the answer, at least make it sound like you're discussing it.
Okay.
And so it's this,
I think we've got the idea now, Nick. It's
so
all
this
good.
music wasn't a waste of time
What
for
is
me.
your favourite colour?
Multi-pie.
Oh, I know this one.
So you have
We get to cross a bridge afterwards.
you have 1 minute to answer the following question. Are you ready?
Oh yeah.
This may become a weekly fixture. So
Let's just see how it goes the first time.
Yes.
eh?
Can we make it a minutely fixture?
what do the following all have in common? Eugene O'Neill, Helen Hayes, George Gershwin, Martin Beck, and Neil Simon. Your time starts right now.
I don't know who one of them is.
I
I'm
know.
think I only know who one of them might actually.
Okay.
Helen Hayes, as Family Guy once said, was the first lady of American theatre.
Yes, she was. She was in One of Our Dinosaurs is Missing.
Absolutely.
But she did lots of American films. She's been Miss Marple, I think.
The answer to this is more simple than you think it will be.
George Gershwin, American composer, quite famous, I believe, and well known for musical theatre.
Eugene O'Neill is also a playwright.
He's a playwright, absolutely,
Of quite
an American
heavy
playwright.
Maybe they're all
Neil
American,
Simon,
then.
also an American playwright.
Martin
Gershwin
Beck.
is the only one. Did Gershwin ever write any plays? I don't know that he ever did. Technically. Martin Beck.
Do we know who Martin Beck is?
Can we have some context? Are we allowed a hint?
Nope.
Oh dear. Well, we have to betray our...
It has nothing to do with their art form.
Okay. Nothing to do with
Their art form.
So did they all have a mole on their left cheek?
Buttock.
No.
I was going for the clean version, but okay.
You have 10 seconds left.
Maybe they're, I don't know.
You know, I agree with that. I don't know either.
I think well,
I tend to support
are they all
your
American?
conclusion. I would think that's
So that's probably what they've got in common.
Time's up. So, what is your answer?
Oh, from upstate New York, I don't know.
Yeah. So where they came from.
Sorry, excuse me.
We failed. We suck.
The answer is they all have theatres named after them on Broadway.
Oh,
Of course they
okay.
do.
Right, I get it now.
Is that
So
right?
who is Martin Beck?
No idea, but he has
You could
But he has a theatre named after him on Broadway.
There's a
So-
Neil Simon theatre.
apparently so.
That's extremely impressive. Of course, you could have had Schubert, the producer, as well, because he was.
Yeah, which is producers.
So, what are we going to talk about today?
I think jukebox musicals will be a good place to start.
Shall we? Yeah, that's fantastic.
Start with jukebox musicals, a big phenomenon lately.
I've been offered a jukebox musical.
We
I was
Will Rock
offered
You.
We Will Rock You.
Oh, really?
Didn't do it.
You were
I
offered
did-
a part in it.
I did Fame. Yeah, I did Fame instead. I got offered Fame and We Will Rock You at the same time. I took Fame.
Okay,
So
that's
there we
pretty
go.
good.
Well,
Bit
you've
useless information.
So what do you know about? So what can you say about We Will Rock You?
I don't know,
Have you
I'm-
studied the score? Or?
I went to see it once.
Well, that's a plus.
I quite enjoyed it. Actually.
I've
You've
seen
seen more
it
jukebox
twice.
musicals than I have in that case.
I've seen Mamma Mia as well. And I saw Our House. Saw that as well.
Our House is good. I like Our House is the Madness musical, famous
Yeah,
because
that's
of the song Our House in the middle of the street.
Well, is it worth
And
talking?
the story was very strong.
Obviously not.
Well,
plus.
I was going to say that story, I think, is the big problem with
Yeah.
Duke. I'm going to put my cards on the table immediately.
Right,
I
okay.
have seen Mamma Mia, and it's
Yes.
fairly representative. I mean, and it is in its own right entertaining.
Card one.
But it's a big card. And the big cards also says that the problem with
matron.
them is that they are designed to link disparate songs, which are not an integrated score and can't form an integrated score, and therefore quite often they're a little bit clumsy. Now, Mamma Mia overcomes this by being very much over the top, but there is an awful lot of clumsiness in it. Overall, the plot doesn't really bear much scrutiny, and there's that. I have to say this: there's a scene. And you know what song they're going to sing at the end of the scene because there are three sort of middle-aged women who are friends and they're on this island.
Do
and
they
they're
name a
chatting
particular
away.
person by name or give
Well,
them a nickname?
they
or
give
something
them.
like that?
They do. That's exactly what they
Sounds
do.
like
For
a
one
nickname-
scene only, they nickname.
Chiquitita,
That's
yes,
exactly
yes, I
yes.
see.
That
It
is
sounds
the
like a-
nickname.
it
And you
sounds-
think, oh, I wonder what's coming
It
now.
sounds like a porn movie already. This is
Well, that's
I
one way
wouldn't
of doing
know.
them.
I've never seen one.
oh, okay.
Andy, how innocent.
But,
yes, but
um,
I saw the one you were in.
Was it good?
Well, the car was nicely
Never
polished
reviewed your
afterwards.
own work.
Did you have a big blue one?
I'm not.
I've seen Mamma Mia once, very early on when it opened.
I quite enjoyed it.
The interesting thing is, my mother has recently seen it again and said it was entirely different.
Oh.
The story was dumbed down.
Oh, good lord!
It was made much more brass.
And they replaced all the ABBA songs with Rolf Harris ones. Yeah. Didn't work quite
Take
so
the
well.
peg.
It's Brasher. Did you say?
Yeah, and
Royal beef and carrots.
Now,
That's the stuff, in my opinion.
gents, can we behave,
Yeah.
please?
I'm so sorry.
is the argument? Would you say, therefore, that that's happened naturally? Is that do you think that it's been rewritten?
Well, I
do you
think
think it's
it's-
actually
well,
just
well,
over the years it's run?
I
They
yeah,
decided
and
to simplify it just courtesy of through performance.
I think because it's now a sort of worldwide company, Mamma Mia,
Mm-hmm.
and this was very early on when it wasn't. It was just a London
Yeah,
production, and they obviously, the story was great. It was about this,
Woman who didn't know who was the father
Yeah.
of her child,
and,
Which is great.
and
but she'd found up some likely suspects on an island.
You're selling it to me.
sounds like a reality TV show as well. But it sounds like
Zeitgeist.
the audience.
Have you got the producers' brochure here?
Yeah.
You get it out a minute, because there's a bit in it about Mamma Mia.
Okay. hang on a
Honestly.
second.
But yeah, sorry. Well, we can do this in a minute.
But
In a minute, we'll do it in a minute.
but whilst Nick's doing that, I mean that very
I'll
clearly,
find it.
very clearly points out what is wrong with the play. Because yes, when looked at on a piece of paper or described on a podcast what the plot is, it doesn't sound tremendously promising. I mean, as I say, it's been described here as fluff. It is a confection.
Yeah.
But the problem is, does it have any artistic worth in any real sense apart from the songs, which are already surefire hits before you get there?
So that was clever.
I've got an answer for that, but I'll be 2 seconds.
Was it written down for you?
No, it's not. I'm just trying to find this very. Here we go. Okay, I'm coming off the bed now. Here we go. Fantastic.
We have a
Check
bed
if
in
you
our-
can do it.
we have a-
Okay, cool. There's a bit in here about this. I should get to that in a minute. The reason,
I'll find it.
the reason I like, it's a bit with the flops and the hits, that bit. The reason it's good for musical theatre is because it's really dragging the audiences in and it's keeping actors employed. So and it's a big cast as well, and like there's a lot of push and pull for you because all the set is moved by the actors, so you get some extra money in there. It's good for our profession. Maybe it doesn't have any.
Not quite so good for
artistic-
ours. It would be better to
Any
say.
substance.
Yeah,
Writers,
and maybe
yeah.
it's not got any
As writers,
substance,
yeah.
but it's good for actors because
Rather
it
than scene changes.
because it's going to run. It's going to
Forever.
after it's finished in the West End.
This
it's
is
gonna
all
pour for
leading
years
to
and,
a
you know.
debate we're going to have in one musical talk episode about enlightenment versus entertainment.
Yeah, I mean,
Good versus
I
popular.
asked my dad a few weeks ago. Actually, I said, "Oh, yeah, what's your favourite musical?" And he said it was Mamma Mia.
My mum says that's
And
her
I just
favourite
went,
musical as well.
Well, I just, I wanted to disown him on the spot, but I said no, fair enough, because he's a person that works for the theatre. He doesn't concentrate the whole time there. He's just sort of listening to the songs, and he knows ABBA songs. He likes ABBA songs, and so I was like, well, good on you.
In that sense, it has, yes, it does pull people in, and it probably pulls in an awful lot. I'm using a lot of P's here. It pulls in an awful lot of people.
Great
Do you see?
information.
With their pecks of pickled peppers.
All called Peter. But they are.
Penelope.
It's bringing in an awful lot of people who wouldn't necessarily go to see theatre
Absolutely.
or musical theatre. In that
Same as
sense,
we were up
it's
to.
a good thing. However, could it be argued that it might also be pushing out? If I was a producer, why bother getting somebody to compose a new musical when I can just string together a lot of surefire hits already?
Absolutely,
And you see, that's slightly my problem with it.
of course.
I mean, obviously, the one thing you could say, as if you were a producer of musical theatre, is that actually, that's exactly the point. I mean, you can actually say, here are musical
Money.
writing and songs that have already proven themselves. We know they're popular. People like them. What's wrong with giving people what they like?
But there have been cases where it hasn't been a good idea. In the case of
if it sells from a producer's point of view, from certain producers' point of view, then of course it's a good idea.
I mean, I will
Doesn't
admit
really matter if
I've
it's
seen quite a few of them, and there was one which ran for a long time in London before this craze, which wasn't really. It was the Buddy Holly story.
well, that's
I really enjoyed the Buddy
Yeah,
Holly story.
I've seen it about 5 times, and one time it had such an effect on me, I burst into tears, which is the only theatrical experience where I ever only
Oh my God!
sort of cultural experience.
Is
where-
that when
all
it
the time.
started?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no, it was when he died at the end.
You must have known that was coming.
Yes. It's a bit like Titanic.
That's the interesting fact. American Pie was the name of the plane.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
Plane they
so?
all died
By Don
on.
McLean.
Hence the
Bye bye,
right,
Miss
okay.
American Pie.
Yeah, yeah.
Hence the,
Fair enough.
Was
day the
Buddy
music
Holly
died.
known as Miss American Pie? I
thought
get quiet about that.
I thought you meant the movie for a second. there.
Yes.
But the interesting thing about the Buddy Holly story is that, am I not right in thinking the story is in fact actually a bio story?
Yeah.
It's-
Yes,
it's-
biopic
and that's
is
quite
right.
interesting because
Or
that is a real story.
A bio
Obviously
musical.
fictionalised to a degree,
And
I
they
suspect,
did-
but it not concocted.
And they did one with Jerry Lee Lewis called Great Balls of Fire, which is great. I mean,
Elvis,
Yes.
Cliff, they've done Cliff Richard. they've
but
done
you
Elvis.
only
Yeah.
really,
What
I
about
mean,
Cliff?
Yeah,
There's been a
flopped,
Cliff
flopped.
bio musical. What a marvellous.
Was it called
notion.
Lemming?
I don't know. How would
it
they
was
do it?
actually, it's got the most original title. It was called Cliff the Musical.
Cliff the musical. And how did they do on
Exclamation
the,
mark.
how did they do on the love interest? Was they sort of recreating that Una Stubbs chemistry?
Yes.
I
from
I
the
didn't
50s?
see it.
He fingered his tennis racket rather seductively. He won't be on this show now, Nick. Sorry.
but there have been Saturday Night Fever as
Saturday Night
well,
Fever, yes, that was.
which puts
BG songs, yeah.
into it. And there's also been sort of ones which I don't understand why they're popular. Is the Motown one?
Dancing in the Streets.
Yeah. Dancing in the Streets is
that's
still
not
running.
a musical. That's not a musical. I mean, when I watched it, my ex-girlfriend worked on it, and I saw it twice. And both times I sat and said, "This isn't a musical. This is just a music concert." It's
Was
literally,
it any
literally
links?
someone comes out with a sweep and goes with a broom and goes, "Hi, this is this set here. This is a representation of a music studio where Motown was in where the craze was created, and this is the music. This is some Motown songs." And then
they
someone
just come
comes out
on.
and pretends to be. Stevie Wonder. Then someone will come out and pretend to be that one that had all those wives.
Henry VIII.
It was the one that he had like loads and loads of children, didn't he? That one I can't remember his name now for the life of me. But it was all just Motown music. It was just an excuse for them to do.
Right. Okay.
And they
well,
did,
that's fair. So, in a way, that's kind of
Ross and-
slightly better, arguably, than trying to twist a story.
Yeah,
around.
it wasn't. It was no story at all. It was just
Yeah.
literally saying. And now Diana Ross
we-
and the
yes.
Supremes.
Because we saw a film
What do you mean?
last night that would, of course,
Marvin Gaye.
Oh, Marvin Gaye, was that him? We saw a film last night which actually in some ways it could have been a jukebox musical.
Was
and
it
actually
Dreamgirls?
which was Dreamgirls, absolutely.
Yeah,
And which
Dreamgirls
is
is
a
brilliant.
Motown, which is a Motown musical, but obviously they've actually deliberately, for all kinds of reasons, they've actually written stuff in the style
It's
of
a new score.
Motown, and actually not just Motown, but also some of the non-diegetic songs are also.
Now, did these
in-
songs move the plot forward? Did they
Some
burst
did and
in-
some
Well,
didn't.
some did and some didn't. But they were all kind of.
But they did burst into song at a high emotional point.
There are two ways. I mean, obviously, they have a lot of diegetic songs whereby the girl group is singing that particular song in
Right.
that particular reality, and Jim Early is the other character who sings particular songs. But there are about 3 or 4 songs which are just done in a dramatic context.
Is it worth just clarifying here by diegetic you mean it is actually part of the script that they are singing a song rather than they are singing a song to
That's
express
exactly
a
it,
feeling?
yes.
Thank you. I think we're just for clarification.
And of course, non-diegetic is the opposite. Where
I like the wigs. They were good.
and I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment.
Can I ask a question about jukebox music?
No, you may not.
Excellent. I'll come back to it.
I'm looking at this. Yeah, of course you can. I just want to. I'm looking at this producer's brochure, which Andy got out for me.
Summarises a musical in like two lines or a sentence, and then it says hit or flop.
And for Mamma
Oh,
Mia,
I have seen that. Yes.
for Mamma Mia, obviously a hit. English woman romanced by 3 men is unsure which one fathered her child. That's Mamma
And
Mia.
then read the next one.
Carmelina, a flop. You
Yeah,
heard of that?
but read it.
Italian woman romanced by 3 men is unsure which one fathered her child.
Interesting.
So it must be one of the. I mean, obviously that was a flop, and Mamma Mia was a hit. So audiences are going not because of the story, but going to hear, or arguably one of the most popular bands of all time songs.
No, I accept that absolutely. But once again, I'm worried that becomes the only way we get new musicals.
It does seem to be. I mean, how many new musicals have opened recently where there hasn't been some kind of hook of either
Daddy
prior
Cool is
knowledge
just
of the
opened.
music? Well, Daddy Cool, of course, is Boney M.
Yep.
And that's
Just
that's
opened.
jukebox musical.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, what's opened lately? I mean, Mary Poppins is not a jukebox musical, but then again, it's an established product. And
It's
it
standing
has,
on the shoulders of a previous production.
Well, that's right. You have the Sherman Brothers score, which
People are
obviously people
saying,
know,
I mean,
so it has the same sort of properties.
the producers, I mean, newish.
Standing on the production, standing on the shoulders of the
Wicked.
previous film.
Wicked is
Wicked is a fairly
really the only
good
book
example, other
only
than the
book
fact that it's-
musical.
Billy Elliot.
Billy
Laurie
Elliot
standing
stands on the film,
Yeah.
but I mean, you're right. It's not. It certainly doesn't make it
Yeah.
in any way a jukebox musical because it's a plot box musical.
I mean,
you know.
it is there because people like the film and they know it's going to sell, so they made. I think that's
Yes.
the reason they made the musical.
Well,
But
that's
it belongs on the stage, I think, the Billy Elliot
Yeah.
story.
Beyond Wicked, can you think of many other new musicals in London that are
A model girl.
Dirty Dancing,
Well, Model Girl is.
Filthy Prancing. Yeah, there's another one.
But they're based on something. What I'm saying, something that's actually been original and new for
Do
the
you mean
West End.
Dirty Dancing?
Filthy Prancing. Yeah.
Yes. But of course, I assume they're using some of the same original songs from
Some
the
of them, but then
soundtrack.
they've also got new
They'll have
songs. As well.
interpolated
Oh,
some
there
new
is an
ones.
element of
Yeah.
new score.
And
Well, that's
all of the
pleasing.
ensemble sing. There's not like a random ensemble member will sing a song rather than the principal.
My recollection of it is right because it's been a very long time since I first encountered it. I mean, The Time of My Life is a big number in it. Is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah.
And so that will be the big hit that
Now,
people
one
will be
I-
going to see. In
one
the same way they go
Spamalot.
off to see. Oh, yeah, Spamalot.
Well, that had the movie, of course.
Yes, and well, not just that, but also, of course, a number of the songs did I mean, not least, Always Look on the Bright Side of Life,
Yep,
which of course has been
absolutely.
around for
And Brave Sir
eons.
Robin was in the movie as
Brave
well.
Sir Robin was a song not perhaps very well known, but certainly from the movie. Yeah.
And We're Not Dead Yet was written.
We're not. It was original
You're not
musical.
dead.
Yeah.
I
But-
like that one.
I guess you could say Avenue Q as well.
Avenue Q, yeah.
Well, Avenue Q has used a not dissimilar strategy in the sense that you've got the internet is. Can we say this on the?
Yes, internet is for porn.
The internet is for porn.
Yeah,
There we are. I'm going to go ahead and say
What's
it.
the name of the song?
That
We-
song,
we all know
that
it.
song did the rounds on the internet. Funnily enough.
As a sort of anime video, wasn't
Yes,
it?
there was an anime video made of it and so on. And so in the sense it did something similar to not necessarily what jukebox musicals do, but what the early Andrew Lloyd Webbers did by having
Hit first.
the score out there in the real world first.
Yeah.
Also, like,
Which then
also
brought people
Rodgers and
back.
Hammerstein did that. I mean, I remember we were told that people went humming they were singing along to the overture when they would sort of the musical on opening night. People go along and start singing. When
What
you're
for?
Yes.
no, but
Was there a tune?
Andy, do it.
Yes, that's a very good rendition of Oklahoma, if I may say so.
Hum the Sound of Music.
Sound of Music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, people basically they went into the theatre knowing the music already because they were the pop songs of the day. So now it sort of seems to be reverted back to the and Crazy for You is also a sort of catalogue.
Oh, very much so.
Musical.
That's a
Yeah,
Gershwin
that's-
jukebox.
yeah.
It's probably the original.
Yeah.
Probably the original one. Isn't
Actually,
it?
putting it
Surely.
together, if you want to be absolutely
Yeah, I mean,
cheeky about it.
These
it's
are
also
not-
Sondheim,
it's a review,
Or
yes.
Marry Me a Little is also
When do
a
reviews
Sondheim
become jukebox
review. Yeah.
musicals? Crazy for You was preempted in that there was a 70s version with Tommy Tune and Twiggy, which had a different name again, but it was once again
Really?
it was a Gershwin musical that was just.
Oh.
It's very easy. You take a Gershwin song title, you stick 400 Gershwin songs into it, and hey presto, you have a show. But that is a jukebox. Well, that actually raises my question: what defines a speech marks on radio jukebox musical? The Jolson story was in London a few years ago, and of course, in a way, what that was doing was highlighting the songs for which he was famous to a degree. Does that count?
Well, no, because again, it was a biographical
Yes.
musical.
Yeah.
So I
But
think
all the songs were original.
it would be whether you would define Buddy Holly as a catalogue musical or jukebox musical or not.
Well, I
It's the
probably
same
would.
thing, I mean,
Yes.
So I mean,
It doesn't have to be. What I'm trying to say, it doesn't have to be modern pop.
It
doesn't
sounds
have
to me like we're getting to the stage of actually having sophisticatedly divided jukebox musicals into
Yeah.
two separate categories.
Yeah.
Go on.
Let's just explain that. We've got the biopic musical, and that's
Mhm.
where you know your Buddy Holly story, now Jolson story, and then
And
there's
all the stuff they
musicals
did together.
whereby you contrive a set of a story
Storyline
around that
around
existing
a band's
jukebox.
music, yeah.
So the examples of that, obviously, we've talked about Mamma Mia. We Will Rock You is another example. Tonight's the Night is another.
Tonight's the
Yes,
Night.
I saw that. That was that was
Okay.
quite entertaining, actually.
I don't. How many?
Purely
how many
because it had-
songs did you know?
Purely because it had a 6'1" blonde devil in it, clad in leather, which is very enjoyable.
Was she
Lovely.
wearing Prada?
I wasn't that close, but
You couldn't see the labels.
no, the gorgeous Hannah Waddingham, who's now in Spamalot as Lady the Lake.
What was the story of Tonight's the Night? And what,
Faust.
how did they use the songs to tell that story?
Well, I know a
How
very.
does sailing fit into it, for example?
They had a boat in it. As sailing was the curtain call.
Clever.
Now,
yes.
interesting, talking of boats, Mamma Mia, a very famous song, Waterloo, does not appear in Mamma Mia.
In fairness,
But-
they
but-
couldn't afford the armies of Napoleon to do it.
But
They tried, but...
but when I saw Mamma Mia, I was close enough to notice they had a boat with Waterloo on it.
so there was
It's
a
the
little bit
same.
of referencing.
when Jailhouse Rock was at the Piccadilly, they didn't have the song Jailhouse Rock in it.
Really?
Oh, did they not?
No,
Oh,
they,
that's-
they couldn't get the rights to the song.
But the title, because there's no
Cost too much
copyrighted
money.
title, is there?
Now, wasn't there one called Smokey Joe's Cafe as well?
Yeah, that was
Lieber
a
and Stoller.
review show. Yeah, that was a.
So, and there's also the Blues Brothers sort of review. That seriously was a review. It was song, sketch, song, sketch, song, sketch. And they may not last for a long time, but they always get a sort of... there's always a sort of a certain type of audience who'll go and see this.
Well, the
sort of-
people who like the music in the first place, one
And-
assumes.
But it's hen nights and it's sort of girls who, like to
Well,
go
it depends
out
which music you're talking about. Because
Yeah.
that's not the case for We Will Rock You.
No.
That's certainly the case for... I mean, Mamma Mia has been spoken about as not only... I mean, the book is written by a woman, directed by a woman, and that's the sensibility of it is such that it's pitched as well. Actually, as is Dreamgirls, we noticed from some of the adverts we were seeing, pitched very much at a female audience, which is quite sensible because the musical theatre audience is, 65% or whatever it is, isn't it? Supposedly female. Then you've got the Ben Elton, the Queen musical, and We'll Rock You, and that again is attempting to go for, I would say, a younger demographic. It's trying to go
And
for a slightly younger audience.
I think we should talk about Real Rock You. Hands up who has seen it. Okay. Hands up.
I don't know if
Did-
anyone's
did you
listening.
see that?
But the older
If you
people
could-
hadn't seen it.
Let's put it this way:
I
two
haven't.
people put their hands in the air, and they were not Tim and myself.
We'll
Can
let
you work
talk
it out,
about that.
listeners?
Did you
It's a
enjoy
quiz.
it?
Stick the music on for him.
Did you enjoy it, Andy?
I did actually really enjoy it.
I really and I think you go like a lot of theatre, popular theatre. You go as an escapist. You go.
You get out as an escapist.
You go to enjoy yourself,
Apologies.
and I mean it's a great show. It's a great spectacle, which is this word.
Why is it great? What is great about it, please?
It's very funny for a
Yeah.
start, and I'm a massive, huge, my favourite band, Queen favourite band. So I thought they arranged the music and turned it into musical theatre. It wasn't necessarily. They didn't keep it the same, and they did write the storyline very cleverly around the music.
And we have the word cleverly again because
Cleverly.
I'm not trying to be unnecessarily cynical, but when it opened, if you recall, it had the most appalling reviews, and what they ripped apart was not the music; it
Was the
was
storyline.
it
It
was
was
the
the
storyline.
script. I think the
Absolutely.
problem is with-
and it
with
has
Bennett
also
was-
announced its closure at least once in
Yes,
its
it
run,
did, and now it's
and
not.
then they took
But
it
then
on
it's
the science
been
again.
running for 5 years now. I mean,
They'll get it right soon, won't they?
Well, it's done twice the
in a huge
the
theatre,
amount
mind
of time
you.
the producers did in the West End.
It's a form of cinema, really, actually, isn't it, with Dominion? Yes.
It's among the things that I think there was. Again, I haven't seen it, so I can't criticise it from that point of view. But among the things that were raised in the reviews, I remember, were the fact that, for example, they'd had to invent a character called Galileo Figaro, in order so that they didn't have to change the lyrics. Now you wonder why.
Yeah, but then that song isn't actually in the show until the very end, and that's the curtain call. So they didn't have to. They called him Galileo Figaro because everyone will understand it. Everyone will go, oh, it's a Queen reference. They didn't actually
that's true.
use him in a song at any point.
I mean, I suppose the question is that you might say one of the things that people are going for, obviously, is they know the lyrics and they want to sing along and so on. Therefore, you don't change the lyrics. Therefore, that makes your writing of the script slightly more awkward because you've got to kind of somehow make the lyrics make sense in context. Which obviously, if you're writing a new musical, you don't have to. You write your lyrics to fit your story, and everything's integrated.
Integrated is the word.
So why do you think they don't rewrite the lyrics to the songs in order to
because,
make them?
Because people know the songs and it would sound mangled to them if they sounds all.
Some of them were rewritten though, and if you look at another, well, not really a Catalan musical, but if you look at Dance de Vampire, that has Total Eclipse of the Heart in it, and they changed the lyrics to that.
Yeah,
and they just use the same.
I mean, it seems to be quite a logical thing to do,
so,
really.
But
Because I mean, the music is sometimes the big.
I mean,
draw.
some of it was changed. Some of it was,
Yeah.
And the fact that the musical is half rock concert as well.
Absolutely.
Because it is so loud, and it is. I mean, it is mind-blowingly loud. This musical.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really go for the storyline. You don't really go. But then the script was very, very funny because it's written by Ben Elton. It was a really, really funny.
Who wrote Blackadder and.
But
Ben Curtis.
Just to balance that a bit, I accept that you probably don't go to necessarily a musical for the story, but in the history of musicals, the 30s were traditionally for the score, and the plots were fluff, and they were supposed to be fluff and like comedies, and then you get Oscar Hammerstein bringing in integrated plot and story, and the story suddenly starts becoming important. West Side Story, the story is actually the important thing that's going on there, and the score highlights that story, but it's working with the story, and then in a way this almost seems like a retrograde step. What we're saying is no longer the story is there to support it. Well, it's merely a framework into which you insert.
I think it's a great example of how commercial theatre has got, how really.
Well, it was always commercial.
I know,
narrative was commercial when narrative was more fashionable. But on the other hand, I suppose people have found more efficient ways of trying to, by discarding narrative, it's an even more efficient process because you've got a lot of your sales is done ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regardless of, which in a way is quite dangerous because if you know you're onto a surefire winner, how hard are you going to try if you're the book writer and you're writing around something that you know is going to be successful? You know that everybody likes Queen. I'm not. This is not necessarily aimed at Ben Elton, for example, who's written a lot of these, because again, I haven't seen most of them. But if you're in that situation, it's going to be tempting to say, well, what quality do I need to create this script to? Because I know it's already going to be a success. So there's kind of a risk in that.
But Tonight's Night wasn't a success, which he also wrote.
Well, there we are.
So
which is
it's
kind of
not,
interesting, isn't it? So maybe it's not as simple as that.
And it's interesting because they label it as the Rod Stewart musical, and Rod Stewart did not write any of those songs.
Oh, right, he was just the original performer on each of them. Yeah.
And
there've been several attempts to do the Beatles as well, haven't there? There've been 3 or 4.
They did one and
Beatles
Bob Dylan's
musicals.
recently done. But the worst one, I think, which is a shame because I'm one of his biggest fans, is the Billy Joel musical.
Which was more of a ballet, really, wasn't it?
That was a modern ballet, that wasn't really a musical.
And there's so many.
The form let it down. Is that what we're saying there?
Well, I think
it
you
just
could
didn't appeal to a very British audience.
I think you could have come up with a much better story for the narrative that Billy Joel provides in his songs, because his songs are so. They're Broadway, Broadway is a big influence of Billy Joel, and his lyrics are so story-driven. He comes up with amazing characters, normal names. You could have a character called Laura or Lucy and Judy, I should say.
Nice boys.
And
sorry, go on.
And all they did was just got people to dance to his songs.
Yeah. Well, actually, in fairness, that's kind of what ballet is in some way.
Yeah,
that's the idea of
but
ballet.
I think they could have
And
made
can
it
be
into.
quite-
I think they could have made it into a book musical with dialogue, using some great songs.
I agree with you. I think they could. I think one of the ones, something I wanted to
been done
raise
before. Maybe they wanted to do it something different.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
a
was
good
really
point.
happy that they took the initiative and did that and employed dancers, just dancers, not musical theatre actors.
And Twyla Tharp is brilliant.
Yeah,
Yes,
brilliant
absolutely.
choreographer. And it was just nice to see. And I mean, when I was auditioning for it, and it was just nice to not have to sing. I was like, when my agent phoned me, they said, am I taking sheet music? And they were like, no, there's no singing involved, so it's just dancing. And I was like, oh, fantastic, and I really enjoyed auditioning for it because it was the only musical I've ever, well, not really musical, but it's the only thing I've ever auditioned for, and not had to
Sing.
to sing, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
What did you dance?
Oh, we did Uptown Girl and we did something else, but I didn't know them. I don't know Billy Joel very well.
You probably did
Cool.
one of the classical things. that
Yeah,
was
we did like a
written.
big ballet thing to it. It was fantastic. I mean, the level of standard of the dancers was just phenomenal.
Yes, well, yeah,
So-
because that's the whole point. As you say,
Yeah.
you can dispense with having to look for other things. I was going to throw in a challenge actually in something that I would call a jukebox musical, but not everyone would agree, which would be Moulin Rouge,
Oh
the
yes.
film.
Yes.
Now,
certainly.
obviously, that uses existing, and melds together, in fact, an
Yeah.
awful lot of different artists' songs and
And a classic storyline that you
and in quite an integrated way. I think I would argue. I mean, I think it
I
actually
think-
uses them fairly meaningfully.
I would argue that Moulin Rouge belongs on the stage and not on the film because it's too big for the film. It almost feels like it needs to.
I think that'd be almost impossible to stage, to be honest. But
I think
that's
someone
interesting.
will do it, but
I think it'll be done at some point.
I don't think they'll put the exact movie on stage. I mean, they're doing Little Mermaid soon. They're not going to, I mean,
They won't. You don't think they'll bring cell painted 3D
No,
animated
exactly.
characters onto?
and they're
Be
not
interesting
going
to try, wouldn't it?
and they're not going to have the whole thing underwater. But what they
Just
will.
as well for the actors, really.
Yes. Disney may be
They could
cool,
have
but they're not
flippers
that
and
cool.
yes.
Start practicing holding your breath and singing underwater, guys.
But what-
Well, you just have it on ice, and then you just kind of let the temperature rise gradually.
Oh yeah, but then you have to put a bit
Gradually-
of parsley on the top, don't you?
I'd love to see the workshop version. That would be fantastic.
This would be like the frogs. By sundown.
But my point is, if Moulin Rouge does come to the stage, and which I hope it does, they will adapt it for the stage by using the actual techniques, like the Lion King, and not the Lion King, well, also the Lion King, but like Lord of the Rings.
Yes, well, I would agree with you that I think it is quite theatrical in its
Yeah.
in its sensibility to begin with. I think you could, if you're going to bring it to the stage, obviously you would change it very significantly because of the film grammar is all about the fast cuts.
Yeah.
We were talking to somebody about that who was mentioning that. The other thing you need to do is translate the language of the story a little bit. I think to make that a bit more. I suppose it's fairly theatrical. There are just certain
Quite
techniques. You gotta-
panoramic, however.
Yeah, I mean, how,
Yeah.
for example, would you do the sequence in which they do spectacular, the Offenbach, routine?
Spectacular.
No words in the vernacular, etc. Yes, that would be quite tricky because that relies on an awful lot of cuts to make that sequence work comically the way it does. There are other sequences as well. I think
Be
the
great.
show must go on. Is
Be a great
fine.
challenge, and I think it'd be a great.
Yeah.
Roxanne, I like Caroline O'Connor.
Yeah.
Roxanne. Oh, I worked with her actually. Another one.
Ah,
I thought I'd just drop that name in there.
Name
I was
rang,
thinking-
calling on my head.
So I mean, there obviously haven't been that many jukebox musicals lately.
Other than Danny
Boney M,
Cool, we talked
yeah.
about.
Cool,
Yeah.
yeah.
which we talked about on other episodes, but maybe maybe they're dying out, and
Well-
we have the ones that are staying.
Well, there's
and-
a certain number of bands. I mean, there's a lot of them, but who are extremely famous in the way that ABBA are and have like a massive international reputation. So I mean, there's still only a certain number, even though there are a lot. Who else hasn't been done of the great? I mean, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a jukebox musical based around
No.
them.
Very theatrical, actually. Guns N' Roses is very theatrical.
True.
Music.
Yes,
That
although
might work.
they're not
Not
really
the
as well
same
known in the
no.
same league.
I think
Uh,
it's interesting how the Beatles one hasn't been.
Well, I think people are trying. The problem with the Beatles is, if you look at things like, I mean, I used to stage in my bedroom. I used to turn the White Album into a jukebox musical when I was a kid. So I thought of this idea before everybody
It's the most
else.
successful album ever.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And I used to try and work out how you could actually get a narrative. It was terrible, obviously, the narrative I based around it because I was only just very small. But and it was because it's quite incoherent. They have that whole warts and all aspect to some of the way
Yeah.
that they construct their albums, where the whole point is the great variety and the total difference between the numbers. So it's very difficult to move unless you're really going to do a very surreal story from the meter maid, lovely Rita, through to A Day in the Life and people.
But I think it would be
Holes in
really
Black
interesting if they
Romanticism.
put Yellow Submarine on stage.
Yeah, that was. Well, of course, in a way, that was a jukebox musical, but with new music, as it were,
Yeah.
when it came out. Yes.
But it would be a jukebox musical nowadays, or would it not be a jukebox musical? Interesting question.
Well, you mean if you did a stage version of the film
Yeah.
Yellow Submarine? You'd have to be selling it not because it was Yellow Submarine. You'd be selling it because it was Beatles numbers, and I would almost guarantee that they would insert other Beatles numbers.
But they had one at that theatre in Shaftesbury Avenue, which is, you say, is a doomed theatre.
Doomed theatre. Yeah. Everything flops now. And
Called All You
also
Need
the
Is Love.
Piccadilly.
Right. Okay.
And
A Hard Day's Night would be the sort of early, or Help actually, because also, I mean, they were all the films that they made.
Well, I just like to posit the idea of having a Eurovision musical. It doesn't have to be one.
Well, there's been one.
So I hear an asthma attack. Sorry, you're right there, Andy.
There's been several.
That's a really good
There are several.
idea.
That
is the best idea I've heard since Crazy Ugly, the musical. Oh, excuse me. Absolutely brilliant.
I hear an outtake.
But it has been done.
Has it been done? Eurovision?
There was in about 1995 a chap called Tim Luscombe wrote a script.
All the dogs are barking. I can't hear.
Sorry, go on.
That's fine.
Tim Luscombe.
I like people responding to the information in this way. Tim Luscombe wrote a musical which was called Eurovision, the musical, and that was on in 1995. But I don't know that it was a jukebox musical of former Eurovision hits, or whether it pastiched the style.
You see, that's the
in
problem.
the way that Dreamgirls.
Gosh.
Let's just not.
So I think we will disappear now, and Andy.
Oh, well, goodbye for now.
Yes.
Andy, you have often said and not seen before.
Yes.
And we'll
This
miss
will be
you.
the last one for a while. Probably a couple of months.
They're making fun of my singing again.
But I thought your singing was wonderful.
No, I did too. I cried, as I said last week.
My radio broke.
I haven't got a glass left in the house.
But,
Lovely, thank you.
I'll see if I can get an interview with Mr. K, with Mr. Peter K. I'll see
Peter
what he
K.
says. I'll ask him and see if he wants to do an interview with us. If
Good.
not, then maybe I can find someone else. I mean, there's got lots of people on the show now.
Oh, wait, we'll have lots of people coming up soon for interviews.
And we have of course Joe Pasquale going into it in Woking, so I'm sure we can get on with him.
He does have a,
fantastic!
Because he's supposed to be a lovely man.
he does have a high voice. Ask him to draw a picture of Elvis for you, if you know what that means. He'll draw it upside down,
Okay,
Oh, okay.
right.
and then he will turn the picture around, and it will look like Elvis.
That's good.
What a skill.
Yes. So, ladies
He
and
should
gentlemen,
have his own programme, shouldn't he?
Good old Joe Pasquale.
the Joe Pasquale
Actually, Joe
Show.
Pasquale has written a musical, of course, hasn't he?
Has
He
he?
wrote Rent-A-Ghost, which was on tour
Oh,
in
he
Britain
did,
last
he
year.
did. He
Indeed.
did. It was very
and
good.
so if you do get him, I would like very much to talk to him, because I've got lots of questions about Rent-A-Ghost, because it was fantastic.
Okay.
Well, there we are then. We'll see if we can get Joe Pasquale.
That's the
on.
second Rent-A-Ghost reference that
Two in
Bit
one
of a
musical
fan, I'm
show.
afraid.
Ribbits has.
Oh, Bodkins, Mistress Mika.
Yes, so we'll see you
Oh, I'm
next
afraid
week,
you've got
ladies and
to talk
gentlemen.
about it.
Andy, thank you so much. You've been a wonderful part of the Musical Talk team.
Have a lovely
I'll be
tour,
back
Andy.
soon. Don't
You'll be
worry.
back soon, but
I'll be here.
No, I want to cry.
I'll be around. You know.
You've
but
only just
yeah,
done
for
one
next
show
year.
with
Can we,
him.
a quick chorus of I Will Survive?
No, how about I'm sailing?
That's it, exactly.
Ready?
No.
Petrify. We can't
can't
hear
hear
the
you.
Once
we
I had a
can't
chair,
hear
it was electrified. What?
I'm not singing anything to do with those. I'm not singing any Glory Gaynor songs.
Yes.
Anyway, it's been a
Making
pleasure.
me sing it now.
Nick, thank you for having me on the show and letting me
No, thank
invade
you.
your house
No,
once
thank
a
you for
week.
paying for the Libsyn account.
Yeah, I'm still paying for that, by the way.
Good. And, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure doing a show for you this week. And Thos, Tim, and myself, and not Andy, will be back next week. Thank you very much for listening.
See you all soon.
Bye.
This has been a production of Musical Talk. If you have any questions or comments, please call the U.S. Musical Talk talk line on 206-338-6302 or the UK Musical Talk line at 0700-593-0764, or you can email us at musicaltalk@hotmail.co.uk.